Have you ever walked into a room and felt like people didn't really respect you, even though you did nothing wrong? It's not because you're incompetent. It's not because you're not good enough. It's because there are little things in your habits you let slip by that make others think less of you. Instantly, it's not your fault because these habits are often so subtle, like a pin drop in a noisy city, that you don't notice them, but others do. And then you ask yourself, why don't they respect me? Why don't they listen when I say the right thing? This is the time modern Stoicism step in, not to make you fake tough, but to help you identify weak reactions, replace them with rational and disciplined action. Stoicism does not teach you to argue. What should a good man be like? Stoic said, be that person. Live like Marcus Aurelius. Be calm. Be decisive. Be trustworthy. Have nothing to prove. In today's video, we will explore 9 bad habits that if you don't recognize and change, they will silently destroy respect that others have for you. And trust me, you don't need to shout to be taken seriously. You just need to behave properly, silently. Let's get started. You think you're just sharing a story, a little something about someone when they're not around. You laugh. The listener nods. It all seems harmless, but at that very moment, an invisible thread of respect was broken. Gossip is never just gossip. It is a poison, sweet but devastating. It masquerades as connection, but in reality, it drains trust. Because when you talk about someone behind their back, people aren't just listening to the story. They're silently wondering, if you say that about others, what will you say about me when I turn my back? And just like that, every word you say erodes honor, not just of others, but of your own. Stoicism teaches, don't use your mouth to show friendliness. Use your personality to create trust. Real relationships are not built on stepping on others. They are built on silence at the right time and respect at the right place. Seneca once said, the road to greatness is always bumpy. Gossip is the opposite path. Smooth, easy, but leads straight to a place where no one wants to believe you. And worse, you may never know when you lost that respect. Stoicism doesn't tell you to be silent. It tells you to choose your words carefully. Know when to speak up and when to change the subject. Next time someone whispers something to you, look up, look them straight in the eye and say, I don't think we should discuss someone's business when they're not around. You are not just defending the honor of the absent. You are building a reputation that people will trust when you are not around. There are wounds that come not from words, but from silence. You say, I'm fine, but the look is cold. You smile, but it's a sarcastic smile. You don't argue, you just retreat and slam the door of connection. That is it. Passive-aggressive behavior, a silent but devastating weapon. At first glance, it seems harmless. You're not yelling or banging on the table, but you're not being honest either. And that gap creates suspicion, tension, and distance. The Stoics understood that respect cannot exist without clarity, because if you can't say how you feel directly, you're keeping the other person guessing. And no one likes being in a relationship full of ambiguous signals. Be honest, not to pick fights, but to build bridges. Want a real-life example? John felt ignored by his wife, but instead of talking about it, he was cold, sarcastic, and sighed every night. He hoped she would get it, but then the relationship fell apart, not because of differences, but because of silence. What if John had just said, I feel abandoned. Can we talk? That simple sentence can save a relationship. Stoicism doesn't teach you to suppress your emotions. It teaches you to master them and communicate them in a rational, non-toxic way. Next time you find yourself wanting to respond with coldness or sarcasm, stop, breathe. Ask yourself, what am I trying to achieve? Can I say this more honestly? Direct communication doesn't make you weak. It makes you strong, mature, and trustworthy. And in a world full of avoiders, the person who dares to dialogue is the most respected person. Did you notice? When someone constantly blames circumstances, coworkers, or bad days, we don't see them as strong. We see them as running away. And respect never goes hand in hand with avoidance. Stoicism teaches that what happens to you is not as important as how you react to it. Epictetus: people who don't take responsibility can't be in charge. They're always passive, and they never grow up. Worse, they lose the trust of others. Eventually, no one wants to give a chance to someone who only knows how to make excuses. Look at Michael Jordan, one of the greatest athletes in history. He once said, "I've missed over 9,000 shots, lost almost 300 games, been trusted to take the game-winning shot 26 times and failed. I've failed over and over again, and that's why I succeed." He didn't blame the coach. He didn't blame the pressure. He take failure, learn from it, and use it as fuel to move forward. Or Jocko Willink, the famous SEAL officer. During a mission in Iraq, a serious incident caused a soldier to shoot a fellow soldier. Many factors were at fault, but when the investigation was conducted, Jocko did not blame anyone. He stood before his superiors and said, "It was my fault. I was the leader. I should have done better. I take full responsibility." Result? He was not punished. On the contrary, he gained absolute trust and respect. From that experience, Jocko wrote the book Extreme Ownership, Total Ownership. He taught that the truly strong person is the one who takes even the part of the fault that is not his own. Because leadership is about controlling results, not just controlling emotions. Now look at yourself. What are you justifying? What part of your life are you refusing to take responsibility for? Stoicism teaches that the more responsibility you take, the more power you have over your life. And from there, others respect you not just because you are good, but because you are trustworthy. No one trusts a person who always has reasons, but everyone wants to be with a person who always has solutions. Sounds petty, right? But the truth is, lack of personal hygiene is the quickest way to make others silently lose respect for you. You may be smart and have a good heart, but if your hair is messy, your clothes are wrinkled, your breath is unclean, then the first impression has betrayed you. In the social environment, personal hygiene is not just a private matter. It is the message you send out to the world. Am I disciplined? Do I respect myself? Am I conscious of how I affect others? Marcus Aurelius once said, "Your mind is colored by your own thoughts." And so on. Your appearance reflects your inner discipline. A well-groomed person is not a fan of appearances. It is because they know the little things make a person trustworthy. Combing hair, wearing a pressed shirt, keeping the body smelling clean, that is not vanity. That is living proof that you respect yourself and the other person. Have you noticed? People who are always clean and tidy are often listened to more and trusted more, even if they haven't said a word. As for those who are sloppy and lazy about taking care of themselves, they may not be publicly criticized, but they will gradually find themselves separated from important circles. Not because anyone hates them, but because humans instinctively avoid what is unpleasant. Remember, respect starts with you, and you don't need to be pretty, you just need to be slim. No one tells you that your hygiene is bad. They just stay away. Stoicism teaches that greatness lies not in the moment of greatness, but in the master the little things every day. Personal hygiene is one of those things. A clean set of clothes may not change the world, but it can change the way others listen to you. One thing to remember, complaining is not communication, it is surrender. You may think that venting is harmless, but every time you complain, you're giving away your inner strength. And more importantly, you're sending out signals that others understand very well. I am a victim. I am helpless. Have you ever worked with someone who was always complaining about their boss, the weather, the cars, even the coffee machine that didn't make the right coffee? At first you find it funny, then it gets annoying, and finally you just want to get away. That's what complaining does. It erodes respect, quietly but persistently. The Stoic would say, don't let your circumstances control your mind. Let your mind control your circumstances. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, you have control over your mind, not the outside world. So why give up that control just for a moment of letting go? Ask yourself, is there anything I can actually do to improve this situation? If yes, do it. If no, accept it. That is emotional discipline. People who are always complaining often fail to realize they don't change anyone. They just alienate others. And then they themselves became a sad story. Lost opportunities, friendships, credibility, not because they are incompetent, but because they cannot control the voices in their heads. So who do you want to be? A person who complains about reality every day, or a person who turns reality into an opportunity to grow? The more you practice silence and solution thinking, the more respectable you become. The more calm you remain amidst imperfections, the more trusted you are. The world doesn't need more complainers. The world needs more strong people who don't scream. There's a seemingly harmless habit that's quietly ruining your reputation every day. That is always late. You can make all kinds of excuses. Traffic jam, busy work, forgetting the alarm clock. But in reality, other people just realize one thing. You don't respect their time. Modern Stoicism teaches us that every action, no matter how small, reflects inner discipline. Are you late for an appointment? You are implicitly saying, my time is more important than yours. Are you late many times? Your reputation begins to erode, not because you're not talented, but because you are not trustworthy. Seneca once warned, it is not that we have little time to live, it is that we waste too much. You can be a man of heart, of ability, of vision, but if you are not on time, others did not see it. Remember the famous story about a CEO. In an important meeting, several directors were late. The CEO said only one sentence and left the room. If you can't respect time, you can't be part of this team. Cruel? Maybe, but fair. Because a punctual person is always respected, a late person always has to make excuses. How many times have you been stressed out from rushing, being late, or having to explain things confusingly? Punctuality is not just a skill, it is a statement of character. It shows that you are organized, disciplined, responsible, and that makes others want to trust you. Instead of rushing, be prepared. Instead of explaining, show by action. Marcus Aurelius did not argue about what it meant to be a good man. He simply lived like one. So if you value yourself, value others, be on time. Not because of the appointment, but because you are trustworthy. Nothing makes people lose trust faster than not responsible. Sounds serious, but it's true. Every time you blame someone, every time you make excuses for your mistakes, you are telling the world, I am not in control of my life. Stoicism teaches that. It's not what happens to us that matters. It's how we react to it. You may not be able to control everything, but you are always in control of how you accept your mistakes, learn, and act. Look at Michael Jordan, one of the legends of sports. He once said, I have failed over 9,000 times. 26 times I was trusted to take the winning shot. I missed. I failed over and over again. And that is why I succeed. Jordan did not blame his teammates, the referees, or the circumstances. He is responsible. And that is what makes him so trustworthy and great. Or the story of Jocko Willink, former Navy SEAL commander. During a dangerous mission, due to a mistake, our troops shot each other. The consequences were dire. Jocko could have blamed the intelligence, his teammates, the lack of clear orders, but he didn't. He stood up and said, it was my fault. I was the leader. I had to clarify the plan, make sure everyone understood their roles. He was not punished. On the contrary, he won absolute respect from team and superiors. Because responsibility doesn't make you weak, it makes you a true leader. You may ask, what do I gain if I stop making excuses and start taking responsibility? The answer is, you will be more trusted, you will be more respected, and most importantly, you will respect yourself more. Marcus Aurelius once said, you can control your mind, and if you can do that, you are stronger than any circumstance. So stop making excuses. Stop being a victim. Stop playing the "it's not my fault" game. You cannot grow in life if you blame everything outside yourself. A respectable person is not a perfect person, but it's the person who admits their mistakes and takes action to change. And at the end of the day, true self-esteem begins when you have the courage to take responsibility. You know what makes people back off from you without an argument? Complaining, constant, persistent, never-ending. At first, it may be a mild lament. This job sucks. Life is not fair. But if you notice those words repeat every day, and then no one wants to listen anymore. Stoicism teaches that it's not what happens to you that matters. It's how you react to it. You complain. You give up control. You say, I am helpless. You say, I am a victim. But the truth is, people respect problem solvers, not people who talk about them all day. Have you ever met someone who is always complaining about their boss, their job, the weather, everything? At first you sympathize, but over time, you start to get tired. You stay away, not because you are evil, but because negativity is contagious. Marcus Aurelius once emphasized, you can control your mind, not outside events. Complaining is poison your mind. It doesn't solve anything. It doesn't inspire you. It doesn't make you stronger. It just goes to show that you are letting your circumstances define you. The important question is, am I complaining or am I taking action? If you can change something, change it. If you can't, let go. But don't choose the middle path, complaining and doing nothing. Stoic was not an emotionless man. They are people convert emotional energy into positive action. They do not complain, why is this happening to me? but ask, what can I learn from this? Respect doesn't come from being lucky all the time. It comes from how you handle adversity, calmly, strongly, and without complaining. Be the person others want to come close to because of your steadfastness, not someone they have to avoid for fear of being dragged into a negative spiral. Because in the end, complaining is a trap. It makes you weak. It keeps others away. And it steals the greatest power you have, the belief that you can change your life. Imagine, a person entered the meeting room 10 minutes late. They smiled shyly and said, "Sorry, traffic jam." Maybe you forgive, but in your heart you have already judged. They don't respect my time. Although unintentional, the constantly late convey a clear message. My time is more important than yours, and that eroding respect. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Don't waste time arguing about who a good person should be. Just be that person." One of the first signs of personal discipline is on time. Punctuality is more than just politeness. It shows you respect others. Be responsible for your schedule. Reliable. On the contrary, if you're always late, what happens? Other people won't give you important work. Opportunity missed. The reputation you build, shaken by just a few minutes late. Modern Stoicism does not say, live perfectly. That said, master yourself down to the smallest detail. And time is one of those details. There is a famous story in the business world. One CEO stated, "If you are late, you don't belong on this team." Strict? Maybe. But it says one thing. In the real world, time equals trust. You can't demand respect. If you don't master your own schedule, ask yourself, why am I often late? Could I have been better prepared? Am I risking my reputation because of lack of discipline? The Stoics choose proactive, no excuses. They don't blame traffic, weather, or busy schedules. They adjust themselves to be on time, for respecting themselves and others. And the truth is, nothing gets you respect faster, a person who is always on time. So if you want to be seen as trustworthy, strong, disciplined, start with the simplest thing. Be early, no excuses, and let your actions speak for themselves. Most of us don't lose respect from others because of one big mistake, but because of small habits, repeated over and over again, that are seen as normal. Gossiping, complaining, being late, or blaming others. These are not character flaws. They are choices. Every action, every reaction is a message. You are telling the world, I can be led by my emotions, or I can be my own boss. Marcus Aurelius did not become respected for his strength, but for his discipline, calmness, and wisdom in every action. And you can be that kind of person too. No need to shout to be heard. No need to show off to prove worth. All it takes is a clear mind and consistency in every little thing. And if you're looking for a way to transcend your old self, Daily Stoic Light is the place for you. Please click subscribe. Get practical lessons from Stoicism, one step at a time, one video at a time. Click the notification bell, because in a noisy world, mindfulness needs to be reminded. Daily Stoic Light. Think like a rock. Act like a mirror. We build our inner strength together every day.